So about a month ago on this channel, I gave you guys a very different type of video for what I usually do on this channel, exploring the worst songs of each year of the 2000s, according to the website RateYourMusic. I'm sure you're familiar with RateYourMusic if you follow this channel. It's an aggregate, user-based rating system website, very notorious, very infamous for many different reasons. I think it's a good tool, but it can be pretty over the top sometimes, and I thought it'd be pretty fun searching through the worst songs according to them of the 2000s. Now, for this video, I'm going to be doing the same thing, but for the 2010s. Of course, if you've not seen the other one, please make sure you check it out, because I thought it was a really fun video, of course, like I've already said. But this time we're looking at the 2010s. I think this one will be different, because I think me as a user and a lot of the people that use RateYourMusic will probably be around a similar age, or maybe a bit younger, maybe a little bit older than me, you know, around a similar era, who will have gotten into music probably at a similar time, aka the 2010s. You would have been a teenager around then, surely, and you'll probably recognize more of these songs. Also, the internet boomed in a totally different way in the 2010s. There'll be surely a more of a diverse array of tracks, for better or for worse, I'm sure. And yeah, I just think the way music shifted, how much access we have to music now through streaming, I just think there'll be more of a wider range of stuff that pops up on these lists than there were in the 2000s, because some of the songs in the 2000s were like Cha Cha Slide and Uptown Girl and stuff like that. I think we'll get more creative this time around, and I think we're going to get a very, very interesting mix of songs. In terms of predictions, before I go through these lists, there's not really a huge amount that's coming to mind, but I'm thinking we're going to get some artists such as like Lil Dicky. I think some of his tracks from the 2010s will definitely be on these lists. I'm thinking maybe some Tom McDonald. I think towards the end of the 2010s, he started to put out some pretty big viral tracks. I'm sure they would have fit on some of these lists, I'm imagining. Possibly that Flat Earth song from B.O.B. Don't forget that one. I think that's going to pop up whenever the hell that came out. Was it like 2016 or something? And speaking of 2016, there were lots of overly terrible political songs that started to come out at that time, whether it was pro-Trump or whether it was anti-Trump, or even some pro-Hillary tracks as well, Hillary Clinton. So I'm thinking maybe that era will pop up on some of these lists. We shall see. I'm excited to see what we get. Of course, check out my Patreon as well. Support me over on there. It helps make videos like this, and you get some perks as well. And also, don't you just want to see me thrive? I'm not thriving out here, guys. Make me thrive, please. But anyway, let's get on with the video. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be going in chronological order, starting from the 2010s. Let's go with number one, the worst song of 2010, Blood on the Dance Floor, You Done Goofed. Look, I'm telling you, man, I have been very vocal before about how bad Blood on the Dance Floor are. I am not going to get mad at seeing them at number one on this entire list. Absolutely not. Oh my God, Jedward! We got Jedward, Under Pressure, Ice Baby. Yeah. God, I'm impressed with RateYourMusic for remembering this track, man. I thought this was just like a UK thing. I thought only us Brits had to suffer with Jedward. They were so like easy to hate, and for good reason. Like, it was obvious not to like Jedward, but good God, they were poop. They were poop. Yeah, this was bad. This was bad. We got some Enrique Iglesias. We got Justin Bieber, of course. I probably should have predicted that as a bit of an obvious one to suggest early on, given that, you know, Justin Bieber in the 2010s, early 2010s, was like super cringe. He didn't get massively better, but I think by the time we got to Purpose, there was definitely more of a likability about some of the singles he was putting out. But Jesus Christ, some of that early stuff, no. Again, Never Say Never by Justin Bieber. That's interesting, because I don't know if I hate that song. Like, I don't know if I don't like it, but I don't hate it enough to justify calling it like one of the worst songs of 2010. But I do know a lot of people that love that track. Mostly girls, I'll say that, but, you know, that was his target demographic. And I don't know if I absolutely hated Never Say Never like that, really. My First Kiss by 303, didn't think of them when I was making my predictions, actually. But My First Kiss, they were kind of annoying, weren't they? I'm not mad at that one. We can definitely get spicier throughout this list, though, for sure. And we start with the top two, with your favorite Martian, transphobic techno. Brackets, bitch, got a penis. Good God, that title. I've heard about this actually, but I've never listened to it. Like, it's one of those like very terminally online internet reference points that I've just never been super familiar with. But I know about this existing. I know it's like supposed to be some kind of like cheeky thing, but I think most people just have come across and found it very bigoted. I mean, for the title there, you can't really get angry. Bitch came back Theory of a Dead Man. They were one band that in the last one I was like, oh, I should have said them because they were so obviously going to be on one of these lists. But Jesus Christ, Bitch came back. Here's a bad confession, probably shouldn't say this, but I used to listen to this song and enjoy it, you know. I'm sure if I found like old data, perhaps if I ever came across my really old iPod and, you know, synced it up to my iTunes, this track would probably have some plays. I'm not going to lie to you. I liked this kind of grungy rock music back when I was like a teenager. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have to be honest. It took me a long time to get away from the bad stuff, you know, as it all does for us all. You know, we're kids. Kids have crap taste in music. Don't judge me. I was a child. Luke Bryan, glad to see him on this list. Luke Bryan is really bad. The artwork here as well. Let's talk about this artwork. Why are his teeth looking like that? I mean, I'm all for a nice white set of teeth. I think nice teeth, very good thing. But this isn't right. You don't need to look like that with your teeth. That is not right. We do not need to do that. But Luke Bryan, that whole album is really one of the worst albums I think I've ever heard. Regardless of country music or not, that is an atrocious album. The Lazy Song by Bruno Mars, probably to this day, a song that follows me around more so than any song from this era. I do not know why this song, if I'm just anywhere, any time of day, I'm like 5 songs away from hearing this. I do not actively choose to hear it. I do not actively go out of my way to seek this Bruno Mars song. But my God, it finds a way to get to me. I do not know how. We still have this weird habit of playing this era of Bruno Mars. Maybe it's a UK thing. Americans, tell me in the comments if you still hear this song a lot. But yeah, this Grenade, Just the Way You Are, like, they have huge staying power, particularly in the UK. I do not get it. I do not think Bruno Mars was good during this time period. I think he got good later on. But the Lazy Song is just so cringe. It's like the lowest common denominator song you could think of. What's a song that I can make that will relate to everybody? Oh, sometimes we have lazy days and we stay in bed and I can't be bothered to do anything. Let's make it a song. Yay! It's like, oh, God. Your favourite Martian again. And again, your favourite Martian has popped up 4 times in this top 10. I'm going to have to take it upon myself to listen to this album, you know. I think it's going to have to happen because I need to know what makes it so bad. It's going to have to be something I do one day, whether I regret it or not. Swagger Jagger, Cher Lloyd, number 10? Oh my Lord. Swagger Jagger by Cher Lloyd at number 10. I'm not hating it. I mean, I'm hating the song. I don't like the song, but I'm not hating its place on here. Again, impressive that this is here. I thought this was like a UK thing. I thought Jedward and Cher Lloyd, that would just be like people who are from Britain that recognize these references, but clearly not. A lot of people recognize this song. Maybe they're bigger than I realized, but yeah, Swagger Jagger. God. All right, we're up to 2012 now. We've got Bart Baker with I'm a Stupid Hoe. Am I seeing this right? Is that is that him doing that in the artwork? Is that him? Oh my God. I swear to God, I've never seen this in my life before. I've not heard this song. Did he seriously do that? No, that is not okay. That is not okay. 2012. These were different times. Oh my Lord. Wow. I remember this guy. He did like loads of crappy, unfunny parodies, didn't he? That were just like, what is it with musical parodies, man? I mean, this is not going to go down well, but even like Weird Al, like, I don't even find some of his stuff that funny. Like, I just don't get the concept of it. I don't know why we do this and think it's like this really funny thing. But in regards to the artwork, I don't know why we do that. That is, no, we should not be doing that. No. Okay. Onision, that's a reference and a half right there. That is a throwback. That was that YouTuber guy, right? You're Beautiful. Again, not recognizing some of these, but I 100% know like who they are in terms of like where they came from and their YouTube background and stuff like that. I kind of feel glad that I don't know some of these songs, because I think if I did, that must have meant I had even worse taste than I could have possibly ever had, even as a teen. Because if I was paying attention to stuff like this when I was like 15, 16, no, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be very embarrassed. Whistle by Flow Rider. Yeah, I mean, we know what the song's about, but it's a little annoying, isn't it? I think like whistling in songs can really go either way. Like, I think including like a whistle in the instrumentation, yeah, it can go either way. I think that Peter Bjorn and whatever that song is, the Young Folks, I think it's called. That's all right. That's okay. But I think like sometimes you can just go a bit over to the other side and it just sounds terrible. Cruise by Florida Georgia Line. Okay, now we're on the good stuff. This is a meaty stuff right here. Train Drive By. Okay, yeah, we're getting there, guys. We are getting there. Because Cruise by Florida Georgia Line, I've been pretty vocal about them on this channel as well before. I think when they dropped their 2019 album, I gave it like a really, really low review. I think it was Can't Say I Ain't Country. But yeah, they might have been even worse before that album, honestly, because that was a terrible album. But when they were doing this kind of like hip hop, like bro country, like rap fusion, it was just like, oh God, like this was just like Morgan Wallen is doing that now. And if you're too young to remember Florida Georgia Line, like maybe if you're a teenager now watching these videos, you might not remember Florida Georgia Line that well. So Morgan Wallen is like the equivalent of that today. But I will say this, I think Morgan Wallen is a little bit better than these guys were. And I don't think Morgan Wallen is good at all, but I will take him over that because this was like really bad. Train are confusing to me because I just feel like a lot of their hits are just like so unjustified. Like, why? I mean, I don't hate this as much as some of their other tracks. I think they've got, I mean, I don't hate this song really. I just think it's pretty cringe. But like, who was their target demographic? Why were these songs charting? What was the appeal? You know, Drops of Jupiter, it makes sense for the 2000s for a song like that to be big. It just sounds so of that era. But like nothing in the 2010s sounded really like this. I just don't get what their appeal was. Who were they appealing to? Birthday Cake by Rihanna. Ooh. You know what though? I actually want to say like Rihanna's like club dance EDM era in the early 2010s. You know, tracks like Where Have You Been? That hasn't aged well at all. I think she was definitely riding the wave of the trends. She was not ahead of the curve. She was just jumping on whatever was popular at the time, as a lot of other artists were doing, to be fair. It's not like I'm just pushing this all onto Rihanna. A lot of pop stars will do that in order to reinvent themselves and stay popular and stay relevant. But yeah, in terms of like that era, it really hasn't aged well. That was a stinky Rihanna era. Another good example of that, by the way, is Usher from the 2010s. Usher, when he started to do that with like Oh My Gosh and stuff, yeah, awful, really aged badly. Anyway, we're up to 2013. So, here we go. This is what I'm saying. The internet times changed things a lot, and AJR topped the list. I am thankful to say that I've never gone this far back to check out any of AJR's stuff. I've only really listened to everything from The Click onwards. For better or for worse, for certainly worse actually. I do regret checking out some of that stuff, but at least The Click was kind of funny. I actually get a lot of entertainment out of tracks like Bud Like You and stuff. They're just so funny. Falling in Reverse, yeah. Best Day of My Life, American Authors. yeah, again, regretfully, will admit this to you all, but this was another song I used to like at the time. I remember like checking the charts and keeping up to date with how well it was doing and stuff. I don't know why I like this song, but is it that bad? I mean, I regret thinking it was great, but I don't regret it that much to the point where I'm going to look back and think it's one of the worst songs of 2013. Like that is pretty, it's pretty over the top, right? We've got a few tracks. The Fox. Got to mention the Fox because this is a really obvious novelty song that I know you're not supposed to just immediately like novelty songs. And I'm not saying that you should just give this a pass. But I don't know, man. It's just goofy. It's just stupid. It was obviously made for kids. Like, so obviously made for kids. I can't really go overboard about this, really. Trumpets by Jason Derulo. I don't think I hate this song either. I'm pretty surprised this is so high up. I don't like it, and I think a lot of Jason Derulo's 2010 stuff is a bit crappy, actually. But yeah, I wouldn't hear this song and think this is one of the worst songs of the entire year. Oh, we've got Blurred Lines. I should have saw this one coming. Of course, Blurred Lines is here. Wow, what a time. This was everywhere. This was one of the biggest songs of the entire year. You could not escape it. You could not go anywhere without hearing this track, honestly. This and Get Lucky came out at a very similar time. And those two songs were like inescapable. It was an absolute time to be alive. For better or for worse, again, with Blurred Lines. I've talked about this before, and I don't know if I've talked about it on this channel. I think I've mentioned it on like TikToks and stuff, so you should follow me over on there if you haven't already. But what I will say is that even despite the Marvin Gaye lawsuit thing that happened, I actually think the instrumental is pretty good. It's groovy, it's fun, it's obviously pulling from that Marvin Gaye song, even if it was intentionally ripping it off or if it was by accident. I think Pharrell said he wanted to create a similar vibe, so there was definitely intention there. But it is danceable, it is groovy, it does sound good until you listen to those lyrics. So I do think it's got one of those weird qualities about it where like the sound of it is passable, but everything else is kind of like, ooh, oh, well, maybe shouldn't have wrote those lyrics, because it just sounds a little creepy, doesn't it, really? And I think that's probably why the main reason it's made it so high on here. But that's a lot of ratings, 1,600, wow. Luke Bryan, That's My Kind of Night. Yeah, I've already said, some of those early Luke Bryan albums that I've checked out, I think they're early in his career. Maybe they're not, I don't know. Early 2010s Luke Bryan albums I've checked out are some of the worst I've genuinely ever heard, so I am not mad at this. And Rude by Magic. Okay, we're getting into some really spicy picks now. I never liked this song. Now, you were probably expecting me to say, oh, he's about to say he used to like this, isn't he? But no, this song is so annoying. The reggae instrumental, it just sounds so cheap and tacky. The instrumentation, everything about it just sounds so weak and just really, really shoddy to me. And then the lyrics and the vocals are like so annoying. And the chorus as well, where he's like, why you gotta be so rude? Oh, I hate this song. I'd have this higher up. I don't like it. This might be one of the worst songs on this top 10 for me, from what I've heard, because yeah, I really don't like this. A little side note before we go on to 2014, I've just remembered a few artists that I haven't mentioned in my predictions, and they need to be said. The Chainsmokers, they are 100% going to pop up at some point. It's inevitable, probably that Selfie song, but beyond that there'll be a few others as well. And then also Imagine Dragons, I think they may pop up on a few of these lists too. So let's see. Number 1 of 2014 is Selfie by the Chainsmokers. I promise you, I did not click to see before I just made that prediction. I promise you, please believe me, I did not know that song came out in 2014. If I had to guess, I actually thought that song came out in 2015 or 16. So that is cool. Of course, again, satire, not parody, but it's like a novelty track. Yeah, but again, I probably heard this more than I did the Fox song, What does a fox say? So I'm more on board with this one being so high up because this song actually was taken seriously. Like, I don't think people realize that this actually was taken seriously. There was a point where, like, I would go out, like, bars or whatever and, you know, like, meet friends out and about. And like, this song would be playing. Like, this song would be playing. Like, it really was. People, I don't think people realize that people took this seriously. People thought this was a real, actual dance banger, and the Chainsmokers were obviously taking the piss. So yeah, I'm okay with this one being so high because the Fox was obviously made for a purpose, and people understood that. This was made for a purpose, and people didn't get that, and you got to suffer hearing this a lot. So yeah, I'm not mad at that one. Honey, I'm Good, Andy Grammer. Someone call Spectrum Pulse. He ain't gonna be happy about this one. But yeah, Honey, I'm Good. It is cringe. It is cringe, isn't it? God, this was like a pretty big hit too. We let some shit get popular, man. I'm sorry, but we've got to talk about how people's tastes need to change because some of the songs that get big are atrocious. The 2010s was bad for it as well. I mean, next, number 3, All About That Bass, Meghan Trainor. What were we doing? This was supposed to be like this anthemic, you know, oh, it doesn't matter what size you are, ladies, you're perfect no matter what you look like. And then one of the lyrics is like, fuck those skinny bitches. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, who thought this was empowering? This is like the opposite of empowering. Like, really, really crap. And the instrumental and the vocals. I can't believe she stuck around too. She had more hits after this. We let her stick around, guys. Oh, we're getting into some really bad stuff now, though, like Animals by Maroon 5. I should have predicted those as well. So, obviously, we're going to pop up at some point. Animals, Sugar, Maps. I'm just thinking about other songs from the 2010s by them that were really bad, but really popular. This is one of them. This is so, so bad. Wiggle by Jason Derulo. Yeah, a little corny. I think it's kind of trying to be silly, but it doesn't make it good. What else we got? I don't recognise that. Psy, Hangover? Respect Psy. Come on, respect Psy. And Hello Kitty, Avril Lavigne. Yeah, I think I said it in the 2000s video, but I had friends at the time that tried telling me this was good. And it was the exact same for, I think, who was it in the 2000s? Was it like Hollywood Undead, those kinds of bands? And I had friends that would be like, no, this is really good. And even then I was like, no, it's not. And Hello Kitty was one of those tracks. So, yeah. Oh, just scrolling down a little bit more. I don't go past the top 10 usually, but Centuries by Fall Out Boy. I think it's more of like a stadium anthem track, really. I think that's kind of its purpose. I can't hate on it, but I don't really like it. We're all the way up to 2015 now, and we're starting with a friggin' stinker, boys and girls, because Marvin Gaye by Charlie Puth. What were we doing? Like, what were we doing? Why did we let this happen? It's just so obviously crap. Why was this so popular? And why didn't Marvin Gaye's family, like, sue them for this? They sue everyone else. They should have sued these guys for making terrible music attached to his name. Yeah, I told you, Meghan Trainor, she stuck around. Dear Future Husband, just really cringy lyrics, and it's just like her instrumentals. Like, she's trying to like do this like doo-wop thing that's a bit of a throwback to like the 50s, 60s. And it just sounds like the worst iteration of that you could possibly come up with. And she just like doesn't have like great charisma or anything like that. Just made for such awful music. Oh my god, Rachel Platt and Fight Song in the top 5 worst of 2015. A 1.19 rating. This is another song to me where I really didn't enjoy it and I got sick of hearing it. But that seems a little over the top. You know, to be the 5th worst song of the entire year. Yeah, I don't know about that. Fly Hobson. I have heard quite a bit of Hobson stuff, and I've seen him pop up a few times on these lists of the 2010s. You've probably noticed me skip over them. It's because I can't really remember exactly which song it is, but I may have heard them, and yeah, I just don't have enough to say about them. What I will say, I never really did like Hobson, though, I will say that. Oh yeah, we got 7 Years by Lucas Graham. I just find the lyrics in this song funny, where he'd be like talking about like being a 10-year-old drinking bourbon liquor and stuff, and it's just like, I don't know, like I don't believe you. Like, did you really do that? Are you sure we're supposed to buy into this? Because we had never heard of you before this, Lucas Graham. So you were asking a lot of us to believe that you were doing that at such a young age. I didn't buy into it. And we didn't really hear from Lucas Graham much again, did we? Oh, we did get Strip No More. That was a pretty bad song. But that didn't do that well commercially. I just remember at the time people being like, oh my god, guys, have you heard Lucas Graham's other music? And then it kind of went a bit viral on like social media and stuff. But yeah, that was a bad song. That was probably worse actually than 7 Years. Silento, Watch Me. Another one of those kinds of like, you know, kind of like dance songs for kids, really, isn't it? It's like Cha Cha Slide, but a more annoying version of that, really. Again, can I get massively mad at it when it clearly wasn't made for me specifically? No. But when I do hear it, I find it annoying. So it's like one of those weird dichotomies I have, really. And of course, Charlie Puth pops up once again with One Call Away. I don't really mind this song, actually. Like, I think Charlie Puth really peaked at terrible with Marvin Gaye. And he had some other songs that are a bit mediocre, like this one. But yeah, I don't know if I can quite label it as like one of the worst of the entire year. Oh, here we go. Two of my biggest predictions from the start are at number 1 and 2 for 2016. I'm With Her by Le Tigre and B.O.B.'s Flatline. Yeah, you can't even argue with this, man. I mean, I'm With Her, just so cringe and has dated in an ugly way, really. And I don't think anything gets uglier than a Flat Earth song by B.O.B, no less. This guy had hits. This guy was like massive for a pretty decent period of time. Like that late 2000s, early 2010s era with his tracks like Magic and Airplanes. Like, this guy was a thing. He was so obviously Andre 3000 inspired, but still he had a good way, a good knack as well of making some pop, hip-hop crossovers. And yet, just when you thought things couldn't get weirder, he gives us Flatline in 2016. Just one of the weirdest songs I think we'll ever hear from an artist that was once mainstream. Just mad, absolutely mad. Oh, the Flat Earth Society, man. Oh, my days. Oh yeah, Train play that song. Yeah, some of these Train hits were really cringe. I've already mentioned what I think of them, though. Oh yeah, Black Eyed Peas did like their re-rendition of Where's the Love. I don't think I ever listened to it, though. Dancing on My Own by Callum Scott. I really couldn't get with this at all. Just found it so, like, void of anything interesting. Like, the vocals aren't really that good. The melodies aren't really there. It strips away everything that made the original so good to begin with. I just really found this song irritating, and it really annoyed me how popular it got, because I was just like, stop making these boring, really like lifeless acoustic versions of great songs. We don't need this. Treat You Better by Shawn Mendes. Yeah, I found this era of Shawn Mendes really painful. Stitches, again, was another song, but I think Treat You Better is definitely worse, just because it's like really annoyingly sleazy with how it approaches it and acts like he's the savior and trying to take this girl away from the bad guy. It's really like the definition of like nice guy, which I think a lot of people really get a bit sick of, particularly like if you frame yourself as this nice guy, but you haven't really got anything else to offer, and you're also really not probably that nice, but you're just trying to get your way into like girls' bedrooms. Like, I know Shawn Mendes is a very attractive guy and all that, but I just found this song really annoying. I can see why this is so high up. Oh yeah, Disturbed, The Sound of Silence. This was just like a really it just sounds so awkward. You know, you're just looking at something. It's just a bit like, I don't know if I can't look at this. Like, it's just like, it gives you secondhand embarrassment. Like, what made them think they were the right band to do this? It just didn't need to happen. And at number 10, we got Don't Wanna Know with Maroon 5 again, which has Kendrick Lamar featured on it. So that's pretty interesting. We have Kendrick Lamar making his way into a top 10 worst song of a single year in Rate Your Music. Who says that website is biased, guys? Because clearly they aren't. But still, yeah, I didn't really like the song. Kind of like tropical fusion, that kind of stuff. It got really annoying. Like, there was such a trend of it. And every song wanted to do the same thing. And it was just like, stop doing it. Move on. Give me something new. Okay, I did say I don't remember some of Hopsin's tracks because they've kind of blurred in my memory. At number 1 for 2017, we've got Happy Ending. I do not forget what this sounds like, guys. Don't you worry about that one. A song that I also should have predicted would pop up at some point. Because this is really bad. Like, it's like really racist as well. Like, you know when, like, we act like we're moving on in society and things are getting better. But, like, in 2016, there was a Flat Earth song. And in 2017, there was this, like, really racially stereotypical song. Like, that's only, like, less than 10 years ago. I don't know how much progression we're making in society, you know, guys. I think we get it wrong. A couple of songs here that I don't really know too well. I remember Rice Gum being a thing. But I haven't heard these songs, honestly. Take a Knee, My Ass. That's the title, Jesus Christ. I think I know what that song's about, though, but I just can't pretend that I've heard them. A bunch of Jake Paul songs, too. It's Everyday Bro. We do not forget this one. What was it? London is my city. London is my country or something? Or London is my... England is my city or something like that. He said something, like, totally geographically wrong, and it just was really funny. Flossing. I remember this vaguely, but I can't remember exactly what it sounds like. But yeah, some of these songs are kind of in memory somewhere, but they're not quite, fresh in my mind. Thunder by Imagine Dragons. I'm glad I got in that prediction because, of course, there had to be something by these guys. And some of their stuff I think gets a really bad rep, and some of it isn't that bad, but Thunder is, like, really bad. I mean, that instrumental and that, like, pitched up vocal on the chorus, I just don't know what they were trying to do, and I can't believe it was so popular as well. Like, it just sounds really ugly. We've made it all the way to 2018 now. We're getting close to the end of this, and yeah, White Boy, Tom MacDonald, number 1. Yeah, just his whole narrative is just like, everything he's built on is just so cringe. It's so like red pilled and like Ben Shapiro talking points, and it's just really annoying. I've never talked about Tom MacDonald on this channel actually, but it is really hard to listen to. Like, it doesn't even sound good as well. Like, when you take away the fact that the lyrics are super cringe and super just ridiculously stupid, you then get to the beat, which sounds crap. His rapping is really irritating. His voice is really irritating. The chorus is like atrocious. White boy, like just really bad to listen to. So he just combines everything together to make the worst music you could envision that could happen in hip-hop music. Now, I admit that I've never actually listened to I Admit, because I just didn't want to hear that. I really did everything I could to avoid it, and I never sat through it, ever. So I'm sure it's bad, and I'm sure given the context of it, it absolutely deserves its place. But personally, I just took it upon myself to never listen to it. And I think you guys should do some of that sometimes yourselves. You should take that approach sometimes. Just don't listen. Just don't do it. Don't put yourself through that. You've got Tom MacDonald again with 2 songs, Politically Incorrect. I think I have heard that one, but I don't remember Everybody Hates Me. But they're probably just as bad as White Boy. I get why they're here. Lil Dicky, I expected this one to come up. Of course, Lil Dicky with Freaky Friday. Just, a really crappy premise. Like, we've heard the Freaky Friday thing done a load of times before. Just really sounds really dated as well. Like, this sounds more like it came out in 2010 than it did 2018. But somehow it was super popular. People think Lil Dicky is funny. Like, I'm sorry, what kind of sense of humor do you need? What kind of sense of humor do you have if you think this guy's funny? There's nothing funny about him at all. Like, no funny song ever. Like, it just really, like, you can't label yourself a comedy rapper if you're not funny. You've got no jokes. Where are the jokes? BB by 6ix9ine. Really couldn't stand 6ix9ine during this time period. Just really annoying, obnoxious, some of the ugliest music ever. Like, this is not that far away from like a Tom McDonald, in my opinion. Like, just in terms of how, like, over the top everything is. It's so loud. He can't restrain his vocals. I think this one was different though. I think this one wasn't quite like that, if I remember correctly, but it still sounded shit. So yeah, you know. Girls Like You, Maroon 5. I just never really got this song. I feel like the production like sounds so clean and pristine, but I just like didn't really vibe with it, you know? I just didn't really vibe with this song. It's just a bit corny. It's not as bad as some of their other ones, but I didn't get much out of it. Oh my god, Peach Gone by friggin' Hobo Johnson. Anthony Fantano lied when he gave him an 8 out of 10, by the way. That was the biggest lie he's ever told us. That was gaslighting to a degree I've never seen. I don't think it was this album he gave an 8 out of 10, but he gave one of them an 8 out of 10, and that was one of the biggest lies. You know how he's like known for his My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy review? You know how he's known for like giving really, you know, controversial like low ratings, like when he gives like, I don't know, a Drake a low rating, or he gives like a J. Cole a low rating, or he gives something a not good, and everyone's like, whoa, how could you do that? We need to talk more about that 8 out of 10 review for Hobo Johnson. That he needs to talk us through that one, my guy. That was not good. And Fifi by 6ix9ine. I definitely remember this one. This was the Nicki Minaj track. I think this was like his first #1, actually. And it was like crap. It's so bad. Like, they have no chemistry at all. The beat is not good. Like, there's barely a hook there. Why? And the final list we're going to be running through for the 2010s is the 2019 list, starting with Lil Dicky again. Earth. I mean, this was just like a, oh my god, it's this guy, he's in the video, oh it's her, ah ha ha ha, they're all here doing this video, and it's all nice, and it's all la-di-da-di-da, charity, global warming, and it was just like really cringe. It was just really cringe. If I was black, I can't believe I've just had to say that out loud. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. By Tom McDonald at number 2. Just look at the cover art. What is this? What is he doing? Why does he do this? Straight white male. Come on, guy. Come on, my guy. You're not a victim. Stop pretending. Death to mumble rap. I totally forgot about this. Mumble rapper versus lyricist. God, this was such an era where like so much like trap and like mumble rap was like topping the charts. You had like 21 Savage really thriving, you had Future thriving, Uzi was thriving. Like, so much of that era just got absolutely trashed on. Playboy Carti as well. And everyone was kind of just like, there was like this culture war within hip-hop of like, this isn't real hip-hop, this is actually good hip-hop, and blah 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 blah, and oh god, and there was just all this stuff came out of it, and they've not been vindicated well, have they? Because I think actually more people that didn't like that stuff at the time have ended up growing to like it and appreciate it now. So it's a weird little period. I think there are still some people that are like hardcore Tom McDonald fans that probably have that opinion and think all mumble rap is the death of hip hop and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think we've changed our approach a bit more with that. Dance Monkey, Tones and I, of course, has to make this list. A little surprised that it's not higher, but when you look at some of the ones that are higher up, you probably aren't too shocked that it would be as low as it is. But yeah, this is just one of those songs that is as bad as everybody says it is. Like, I want a hot take with this track. And I can't do it because it's just awful. Her vocals are like really grating. Like it really hurts my ears listening to her go. It's like, oh, really, really atrocious stuff. AJR birthday party, of course. We needed AJR, really. We need probably more of AJR. In fact, none of the songs from The Click popped up, did they? Because that was a 2017 album, and I don't think when we went through 2017, we had anything from them. That's interesting. Maybe there was just that much bad stuff that it was maybe a little lower down, like maybe it was like in the 20s or something. And at number 10, we have Lanes by DJ Academics and 6ix9ine. To be honest, I don't remember this at all, and I can't believe this even exists, to be honest with you, but DJ Academics is like one of the worst voices in modern hip-hop that we allowed to get so popular. And you know what, actually, I did used to like keep tabs with some of his really early stuff, and he was all right. Like he wasn't amazing or anything like that, but he was fine. But somehow, somewhere, he just shifted into this really annoying, obnoxious voice that we probably needed to let go of, and he's still stuck around. But of course he makes a song with 6ix9ine. That just seems so obviously him, doesn't it? And that is it from me for the 2010s worst singles, top 10 for each year according to Rate Your Music. I've had fun doing this again. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it as well. And let me know your thoughts on these tracks. Let me know your thoughts on any of my opinions. I think I offer a nice middle ground sometimes. Like I'm not quite as extreme as some of the Rate Your Music reviews or ratings, but I also have strong opinions, so I, offer some insight on some of the songs, but I don't hate everything like Rate Your Music does. Like I don't hate all those Charlie Puth songs or some of those Jason Derulo songs. So, a nice middle ground, a bit more of a measured response to some of these tracks. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. As I say, check out my Patreon as well. Support me over on there. Check out other videos as well. The 2000s video that I did on this. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. Have a good day. Subscribe. Goodbye.